shout hallelujah.
Like this. I had an uncle one time standing out on the stage kind of like this and right here, and he slipped and he fell down through a hole in the middle of that stage. We all believe he'd have broke both of his legs if it hadn't been for that rope around his neck. Rope around his neck, buddy, that's a punchline. Nut. Hey, wait a minute, who turned them lights out? Turn them back on a second. Oh, I see them. Are they coming? Because I don't like to tell people sad news in the dark. I got a letter from some friends down there in Mayberry last week, and a buddy of mine worked over at the paint factory. They wrote me a letter and said that he was over there working at the paint factory and he was climbing up a ladder over there, and he slipped and he fell head first off that ladder down into a big vat full of varnish. Couldn't swim. He drowned it in that varnish. And that letter said that it was a terrible death, but it was a beautiful finish. Did you get that all right, buddy? Boy, I sure am glad to be here with y'all tonight. Have you been having a good time? You know, we got some other Mayberry characters here. Where's Howard Sprague? Are you over there? Come here, Howard. Don't hurry or nothing. County Clerk Howard Sprague. Don't he look good? You were what?
Talking to this girl.
You was talking to a girl.
Yeah, don't tell Mother.
I won't tell you, Mama. Don't worry. She looks like one of them West Virginia girls. She's trouble. Yeah, she's trouble. It's like that I was dancing with over there. She's trouble. Yeah. She wouldn't let me go, her. Huh?
Why not?
I guess it's that animal magnetism. Yeah, my mama was loaded with it. I'm just like her.
How's that?
Everything I eat goes to muscle.
If you say so.
Now, how's the clerking business going, Howard?
It's great.
Is it good?
It's really good.
How long you been on the job now?
44 years.
44 years. Bless your heart. You don't look a day over 7.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got my age good.
Yes, you did. I believe this. Where's Ernest T. Bass at? I seen him standing over there, too. Huh? The nut. All right, Ernest T., come up here. I want to talk to you about something. Now, when I was Renton's, you know, and he talked about old man Kelsey's woods and old man Kelsey's ocean. You remember that? Well, she helped him. She gave him his high school diploma, and he went back up in the hills, and that was the end of it, we thought. But what y'all don't know is that 2 weeks later, he come back down to see Miss Crump. You want to keep it calm while I'm trying to tell this, Ernest T. First time I've ever touched him, you know. A nut. Anyways, he come back down there to Miss Crump, and he says, Miss Crump, he says, are you still my mother figure? You remember he called her his mother figure after she hit him on the knuckles with a ruler? She says, yeah, Ernest T., I guess I'm your mother figure. What do you want? He says, well, he says, I sung this song to Charlene Darling. You remember that song? You remember that song? Do you? Yeah, that's it. You all right? Thought he was having a fit. He says, I sung that song to Charlene Darling. It went something like this. He said it went, old Aunt Maria jumped in the fire, fire too hot, jumped in the pot, pot too black, jumped in the crack, crack too shallow, jumped in the tower, tower. That's enough. That's enough of that. Miss Crump said, well, what about it, Ernest T? He says, well, he says, I sung that song to Charlene. He said, somebody told me that it was beautiful poetry. He says, Miss Crump, what is poetry? She says, well, Ernest T, I'm glad you asked me that. She says, I'll tell you exactly what poetry is. She says, poetry is something beautiful that you write down on paper. She said, it rhymes and it's so pretty. She says, you've got poetry, you've got prose, you've got all kinds of different things that you can write down on paper. He says, I don't understand. She says, well, let me give you an example. She says, Ernest T, this is poetry right here. There was an old woman that lived on the hill. As far as I know, she's living there still. See, that's poetry. He says, uh-huh. He says, I got that. He says, what's that other thing you was talking about, that prose? She said, oh, prose. She said, well, it's poetry too. She says, but it don't have to rhyme. She says, I'll give you an example of that. There was an old woman that lived on the hill, but she moved. Ernest T says, I believe I've got it. She said, good. She says, give me an example, Ernest T. He says, all right, all right. There was an old woman that lived by the well. And when she died, she went to, do you want prose or poetry? Ernest T looks good, don't it? Well,
how about something with romantic in it?
Like what?
Solid dog?
Know that? Is that the one that goes, hello, Sal, I know you, run down starting in a war, I'll shoot?
That's her. Just jump in and hang on.
Down in the wildwood, sitting on a log, finger on a trigger and a eye on a hog. Honey, let me be your solid dog. Let me be your solid dog. I won't be your dog. Honey, let me be your solid dog.
Charlene, cut it out.
Sheriff Randy, be still. Just want to snuggle up to you a little.
Charlene, you're a promised person.
That wash, I ain't never promised you nothing. Don't Paul's idea. Come on.
Charlene, I'm old enough to be your father.
He's sure been beautiful preserved. All I do is hold you just once to my arm.
I couldn't do that.
I won't tell your aunt.
Charlene, you owe something to that boy that's been in the service for 3 years.
Send him a fruitcake. Huggy, huggy.
No.
Oh, boy, gone trees.
About ready to dismount. That's home.
I don't want that. I want him.
You just had to go and egg your own. You're on your fancy ways and your winning smile.
I didn't do nothing. If anything, I've been running away from her.
Playing hard to get. Oh, that gets women quicker than anything.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Charlene Darling, Maggie Peterson Mancuso.
Thank you so much. What, is this an okay? Can you hear me? Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is. I'm so pleased to be asked, after all these years, to come back and meet the fans and see that people are still enjoying the show. I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. Thank you. Also, I want to say a little word about the characters that come into these. David Browning, who does the Barney, is fabulous. He's great. We have Briscoe, and we've got Jeff Branch as Earl Sprague, and we've got Ernest T. Bass. And wasn't Ernest T. Bass supposed to? Wasn't he going to sing to me?
Huh? Is that him? Ernest T. Bass, what are you doing out there? You supposed to come up here and sing to Charlene. Huh? Well, don't make me come down there, Ernestine. You're supposed to be up here. What do you got to say for your... What? That's it. Get up there, Ernestine, man.
How about that band? Love the music. That's great. Ernestine, I thought you were going to sing to me.
Say that again.
I thought you was going to sing to me.
I'm going to.
Let's hear it.
Finally get to sing to you.
All right.
Let me find the bucket. My bucket.
Your bucket? Oh, he plays the best trash can.
Kiss those ruby lips of the sweetest girl in town. Never gonna ask her, she'll marry me. I know she turned it down. I'm just a country boy. Money have I none. I've got silver and a star, gold in the morning sun, gold in the morning sun. Never could afford a stone ring with a sparkling stone. All I can afford is a loving heart, the only one I own. And I'm just a country boy. Money have I none. I've got silver in the stars, gold in the morning sun, gold in the morning sun.
Well, I'll tell you, if I'd known you could sing like that, I might have paid some attention to you.
From 1963 to 2004, ladies and gentlemen, the Dillards. Dillards up here, isn't it? We've been busy. We're very glad to be with you folks. It's a great day. Any day above ground is a great day, and when you think? Before we get started, some of you out there are looking at me like the RCA dog, sort of. How many of you watched the Andy Griffith Show? Just I should have known that. This isn't Russia. Well, we would come in from the in the mountains with our Pa, and this was what would happen. Every time we would come in, Andy would walk up to her Pa and say, "Briscoe, the boys are all keyed up." Right? And they'd put the camera on us and we'd give this look. Can we show the look one more time? Can we? Thought she'd never ask. I need your help. On the count of 3, if you all will do Andy's part and say the boys are all keyed up, Doug and I will do our best to represent the whole family, all right? You want to try this? 1, 2, 3. The boys are all keyed up. They paid us this money to go out to Hollywood and look like that, and we've been doing it all our life for nothing. We're going to do you something. I'll do this right now. This is my brother, Douglas Dillard, my older brother. You're older than me.
I'm not that much. I'm only 5 years older than you, Roger.
In our age, that's old.
Yeah, I used to change his diapers when I was 5 years old. That's right, he's one of the original Soggy Bottom boys. How you like that, Roger?
I like that very much. We're going to do you a song. There was a lot of songs we wrote for the Andy Griffith Show that we're going to do for you tonight with the help of these wonderfully talented folks from right here in West Virginia. You have some of those talented folks here. Did you know that? We actually wrote a song about the Darling Boys after the show was over because we thought they ought to know a little history about it, and it actually got nominated for a Grammy. Douglas was hoping for a Grammy, but we got a Grammy. It's called the Darling Boys. Woo! Woo! Way in the middle of the mountainside where the red and the gray squirrels play, and the sound of the fiddle when the old man died was a cure the soul away. Some boys hammered on steel all day, and some put a furrow in the ground. Nobody did it like the Darling Boys when the fiddle and the bow came down. When the fiddle and the bow came down. Oh, the Darling Boys, they all dance funny, and the Darling Boys talk real slow. Nobody did it like the Darling Boys when they came to the old banjo. When they came to the old banjo. Stand up high. They paid by the gallon when the boys came down from every town was dry. Darling Boys were trapped on the river, and the Darling Boys would shine in the night. Nobody did like the Darling Boys when the time of the moon was right. When the time of the moon was right. Oh, the Darling Boys, they all dressed funny, and the Darling Boys walked real slow. Nobody did it like the Darling Boys when it came to the old banjo. When it came to the old banjo. Oh, the Darling Boys, they all dressed funny. Darling Boys talk real slow. Nobody did it like the Darling Boys when it came to the old banjo. When it came to the old banjo.
There's a song that was written by the Dillards that a lot of people really love, and you can count me in that crowd too. It's a beautiful song, and we did it on the episode where I tried to marry